It's cold. Yeah, it is cold. I live in New York City, and to make it worse, I live on the beach in New York City, and it is Brizik. It is extremely Brizik, and I'm being forced to go to work tomorrow, and I hope nobody else shows up so they can send my black ass home. But it's your boy Icon, and we're here to talk about the wrestling Saturday night's main event, which was in Canada, which was also cold. They said Stephanie McMahon opened the show because apparently she was supposed to host the show, and Joe Tessitore was supposed to be there with her, and he got snowed in and he couldn't fly out. So Stephanie did, she did the hosting jobs by herself, and I'm sure she hated that. And she said that it was so cold in Canada where they were right now, you can throw boiling water off a roof and that shit would freeze before it hit the ground. And I said, goddamn. So but I said it's the Icon back, trying to bring you guys the wrestling while we're snowed in. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe, check out my previous reviews for wrestling, and let's get started. Because this particular show, this is basically like this is the pre-show of like the Royal Rumble, because the matches that you would have put on a pay-per-view that you can't put on the Royal Rumble pay-per-view because both Royal Rumble matches takes up way too much time. So you gotta, the matches that we would have gotten on a normal pay-per-view, we got for Saturday night's main event. And for some reason, the first match was Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu. And I don't know why Cody's not getting his rematch for the WWE Championship. I know Drew said there'd be no rematch, but just because you say it doesn't make it true. But now he's fighting Jacob Fatu. And kudos to Jacob Fatu, because before he came out, because you know how like Jacob Fatu, he likes to talk to the camera before he comes out, especially when he's talking about all gas, no brakes with it. He hit us with a new one this time. He said he went from EBT to WWE, and I fucking hit the floor. He said that. That's like the line. That's the line of the year, and we're only in mid-January. So he comes out. And, when he comes out, he's there. Then Cody's there. And then, we do the whoa and everything. Now, the funny thing is, I thought this was weird because in my mind, I was like, you can't beat Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu just came back, and you can't beat Jacob Fatu. So I'm like, so how are we going to get out of this where there's two people and neither one of them, needs to lose right now? Like, what do we do? Basically, before the match even got started, Jacob Fatu attacked Cody, and then it turned into an all-out brawl, and the match actually never got started because they were fighting in like the crowd and everything, which was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was done very well. It was nice to kick off the show with like some brawling and some action and some craziness. I had no problem with that. The problem was Cody and Jacob Fatu fought for so long. I'm like, at this point, you might as well just have the damn match. Because it's one thing, two people get into a fight. Y'all fight maybe for like 4 to 5 minutes. Everybody breaks it up. We go to commercial. Then we come back with the next match. They fought for so long. I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, bro, just ring the bell. At this point, just ring the bell and turn it into a street fight. But they said they didn't do that. They continued to brawl. They continued to fight. And they fought off into the crowd. And then while they fought off into the crowd, Drew McIntyre actually showed up and he put Jacob Fatu through a table and he hit Cody in the nuts and like knocked Cody down. So Drew still got beef with both of them, and Drew McIntyre was standing tall when all this was over, which says to me, see, I can't even say a fatal four-way at WrestleMania. I mean, not WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, because the winner of tonight's fatal four-way is supposed to be the person that fights, the WWE champion at the Royal Rumble. So we're obviously headed towards a triple threat between Drew, Jacob Fatu, and Cody at some point. Maybe we'll get that on SmackDown, but we're definitely not going to get it for the Royal Rumble because that's like next week. But then it's crazy though, because since we have the storyline between Drew, Cody, and Jacob Fatu, that means whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way obviously is going to lose at the Royal Rumble. So that kind of took the air out of it a little bit. But like I said, there was nothing to this. It was basically like just an all-out brawl. Both parties fought off into the crowd. Drew came and broke it up, and then that was it. We went to commercial, and then we're moving on to the next match. One thing I'll say real quick, though, Kathy Kelly did an interview where she talked about how she wishes that the wrestler, it was either Kathy or Jackie, one of them said it. They said that they wish that the wrestlers were more mean to them because they actually like having that pushback because it gives them something to play off of. And ever since they did that interview, now everybody's kind of being mean to both of them. But yeah, I'm actually okay with that. The next match, it was a tag team match, women's tag team action. It was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, the worst tag team of all time, versus Liv and Roxanne Perez, the Judgment Day. And it was sad because, I mean, you knew that the Judgment Day wasn't going to win this one. Like, that was the feeling. That was the feeling in the air. It was a good match, though. Like, two of them definitely did put on a good match. Towards the end of it, Raquel Rodriguez got involved, and she attacked Rhea Ripley, and she attacked the other girl, Io Sky. Like, she attacked both of them to try to help. They did do a funny spot where like the referee was going for the 1, 2, 3 pin. So like one of the other participants was standing over the ref, and then Raquel just like grabbed the girl and like made her fall on the referee. And I was like, that was actually a pretty slick move. And then Raquel got involved because now the referee was knocked out. But then that brought out Stephanie Valcaire, and she doesn't have the boot on anymore, so I guess her ankle is fine. I don't know if she had a real ankle injury. I guess we'll find out on season 3 of Unreal. I don't know if she was really hurt. I don't know if anything happened to her, but she came back. She was walking perfectly fine. Her and Raquel fought off into the crowd. And then when the action picked back up in the tag team match, Liv Morgan took the pin. She got beat up on. She took the pin. And Liv Morgan was, the cause of the Judgment Day's fall. So it wasn't Roxanne Perez's fault. So we're not going to do a thing where we're starting beef between Roxanne and Liv. And, because, Roxanne's not going to get mad at Liv for costing, for costing them the match. And like I said, Rhea and Io, like, they basically reign supreme. And we knew that, like, you knew Rhea and Io weren't gonna lose because they had already announced that Kiana James and Julia were getting a tag team match versus the winner. So if Kiana James and Julia are a heel tag team, you're not going to have Liv and Raquel win because they're not going to do heel tag team versus heel tag team. That doesn't make sense. So clearly that means like Rio, was going to come out on top. I still think they need to bring back Isla Dawn and bring back the Unholy Union. We actually had real tag teams at one point, and then you broke them all up. You got rid of the Party Girls, and it's like now all of a sudden you want to focus on the tag team division now that we got a black female champion. But now all of a sudden you want to focus on the tag team division and put everybody in the tag team division. But yeah, but that's it. I'm more looking forward to the Julia Kiana James tag match because I really love Kiana James. Like, that's my girl. Like, she was like, that was my girl from NXT. So I liked anytime you get to see Kiana James, like, that's a good thing. And I like Julia as well. So to see the two of them versus Rhea and Io, like, that'll be a better match in my opinion. And we'll see what the Judgment Day has in store. And that was another thing. The entire Judgment Day said they were in the Royal Rumble, so that's another reason how you knew they weren't going to win. But I said, but I do look forward to seeing what happens in that tag match. But for this one, Ryo gets the W, and we're moving on. Next up, we had Shinsuke Nakamura. Nice to see him on television doing things versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. And I just want to say this for a second. The plan, because everybody's like, oh, what's he going to do? Is he going to retire? Is he not going to retire? Something? This is basically what's going to happen. AJ Styles went to TNA when they had their AMC premiere. He confronted Frankie Kazarian, and he looked down at the TNA Heavyweight Championship. He said 2026 was going to be his final year. His career is on the line against Gunther at the Royal Rumble. This is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to wrestle Gunther, and then his contract comes up, like in February as well. So his contract's basically expiring right after the Royal Rumble. What's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is he's going to wrestle Gunther. He's going to lose to Gunther. Gunther's going to beat him and retire him from WWE. He will have his retirement match in WWE. He will be gone from WWE, and he will finish out his 2026 calendar year with TNA. Like, that's what's going to happen. And it makes perfect sense because as far as like dream matches are concerned, he already wrestled John Cena. So I was like, I don't see he wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura tonight. I don't see anybody else for him to fight, that's like important in his career. Like all the dream matches of final opponents and everything that he could possibly get, he can get those in TNA. Like, there's no reason for him to get those. Like, he doesn't have those in WWE. So that's it. Like, he's going to lose to Gunther. Then he's going to finish out his career in TNA. And I'm perfectly fine with that. So so for this match, he beat Shinsuke Nakamura, which kind of sucks for Nakamura. But the two of them embraced each other, like they hugged. The match got off to a little slow start, but then it picked up after a while. The fans gave them a standing ovation, gave them their respect as they rightfully should, and that was it. So now next week, we say goodbye to AJ Styles' WWE career, and then we look forward to watching him finish out his career in TNA. So kudos to him, and I look forward to seeing him on AMC. And finally, the fatal four-way to determine the number one contender for Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble, and all signs were leading to one person. I mean, it was Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams versus Randy Orton versus Damian Priest. And I mean, Saturday night's main event was in Canada. Drew McIntyre was the opponent. Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre have had numerous encounters backstage throughout this entire thing. Drew McIntyre is a heel, which means the winner was going to be a babyface. Obviously, Sami Zayn was going to win this match. And I'm just glad Trick Williams didn't get the pin. because, we got to protect Trick Willie. And, to be honest with you, I would be fine with Trick Williams versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, because Trick is doing the perfect thing for him to do right now. He's just being put in the same position with top-notch talent, with top-notch superstars. Like, he just got here, and he's already in a fatal four-way to be the number one contender, for like a major championship. So that's what we need from him. Like, if he doesn't get in the title picture, that's fine. I'm sure they got other plans for the title picture, but he should be in a high profile match, like I said, versus a Randy Orton or a Cody Rhodes or something like that. So I'm happy for Trick Willie. Nothing. There was really, like I said, it was so obvious that Sammy was going to win this. I think there was really nothing much to say about it. But the good thing, but he did get the win. So we are getting Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. I saw on SmackDown, like, Sami Zayn slapped the shit out of him, which was wild. And then after that, Drew actually came out. He confronted Sammy, looked him dead in the eyes. Sammy looked at him back. So, we get to see Drew McIntyre defeat Sami Zayn one more time for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, that sucks for Sammy, though, but, I'm cool with it. That was how Saturday Night's main event went off the air, which was still on Peacock for some reason. I thought they lost their contract. And thank you for tuning in. So, yeah, that's it. It was a good show. Like I said, it felt like the Royal Rumble pre-show, and like I said, I'm perfectly okay with that. So we get to see who's gonna win the Royal Rumble, who's gonna come out. Like, I'm pretty sure Obafemi is gonna be in the mix somewhere in the Royal Rumble. He's got it. Obafemi hasn't even chosen a brand yet, so he has to come out in the Royal Rumble. And personally, I think he should win the Royal Rumble because it plays into the fact that he still hasn't chosen a brand yet. But like I said, we're moving on to bigger and better things as we about to start the road to WrestleMania. So check out my other reviews. Like I said, check out my previous reviews for wrestling. I got some TNA wrestling reviews up on my channel. We're about to start doing our superhero TV show and movie reviews pretty soon when we get some more TV shows and movies to coming. We do have I believe Wonder Man is about to start like this Wednesday or this Thursday. I am doing a review for Bringington, which is going to be on Netflix, so look out for that as well. Like I said, and check me out because I got a fashion show coming up in February too. So I got some stuff lined up for Red Eyes Entertainment, and I look forward to bringing it to all of you. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So until next Saturday night, we review the Royal Rumble. Take care, and we're out this